Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miriam Manzo. As you know, we are a luxury interior design firm and we've been doing interiors for over 25 years. I started my career as a model, and when I was modeling, I was working for all the big design houses, but I couldn't afford the clothes that I was modeling. So I got very good at creating the look on a budget without having to spend the big bucks. When I moved to fashion consulting, it actually became my signature was mixing high and low and getting that look for less. So when I moved to interiors, I brought that same sensibility to how I approached designing homes. A lot of my clients at the time, including myself, didn't have the budget to be shopping at the luxury high-end stores. So I became very good at getting the look on a budget. One of the best ways to do that is Ikea. And I know what you're saying. How can you be using Ikea in luxury homes? So there are so many hacks that you can do that will bring that sense of luxury to your space. We're here in my home office, and I'm going to show you that even in my very large, luxurious home, I have used Ikea and I've done my own hacks. And at the end of the video, I would like to introduce you to some creators that I'm following on Instagram and TikTok because I love what they're doing with Ikea. Now, one of the reasons I love Ikea is, yes, the price point. And I know most people are going to say, but by the time you do those hacks, aren't you now spending a lot of money? And while it's true, your budget will need to go up from the original base price. If you had to go to a luxury high-end store to buy that same look, you're going to be spending far more. So what I love about Ikea is the fact that it's consistent. In other words, we're in my home office right now, which we have outgrown. So we will be moving in the next few months. I'm going to be able to take these pieces that I've used here and build on them because I know that Ikea is still offering all of the pieces as we originally spec'd them. So we're going to take a look at what I've done, as well as some tips and tricks on things that I use that you're going to be surprised at how inexpensive they are, and yet I'm using them in luxury spaces. And then, as I said, stick around till the end and I'll let you know some of the creators I'm following who inspire me. So let's talk about one of the reasons I like Ikea. In design, one of the tricks to creating a layered and really interesting space is the mix. So if we start with what I'm wearing, you're going to see that what makes this dress so fabulous is the mix of patterns, and then a little bit of the unexpected in terms of the little leopard at the bottom. It's the details that make an outfit, and it's the details that make a room. In our designs, we are really a traditional style design firm, but what makes my designs different than most traditional designers is the fact that I like to bring in more contemporary, streamlined pieces so that you're not getting that sort of old school traditional look. It's more youthful and cleaner. So in my office, you're going to see I have the Ikea pieces. So the elephant in the room is the Kallax system behind me. Everybody knows Kallax, and I think I've used Kallax in probably most of my projects in some capacity or another. In this video here, where I did a tour of this high-end condo, you can see that we surrounded the client's desk with Kallax pieces, and they work beautifully with all the luxury antique pieces and antique books that he has. In our office, you see I started with this traditional piece. This was a piece that started off at my cottage 25 years ago and has gone through many variations over the years. So it's finally landed here as a place for us to spread our fabrics on when we are scheming. And you can see it's got traditional turned legs. It was maple piece stained originally. I had it painted to freshen it up and again give it a more youthful, modern look. And then I backed it with these Kallax pieces. So I did a configuration. What I love about Ikea is it has these tools where you can actually see the pieces in your room and you can move them around to create your own configuration. Or they actually have a service where, particularly in closets or kitchens, you can sit with one of their designers and scheme your space out and space plan. So here I did this configuration based on what my needs were. And again, what I love about it is that as we move to the next office, I can completely change this configuration by adding more pieces. So really what I did here in terms of a hack was simple. I simply changed out the knobs and then I left out some of the areas where there should have been a shelf to give me these more display areas. You can see I have one here. And then I brought in these little puck lights and added them to the spaces where I am showcasing some of our accessories from our shop page. So that's a really simple hack. Now here we see this fabulous file drawer from Ikea. Again, what I love about this piece is the fact that it doesn't allow you to open another drawer until the first one's closed so that you don't have tipping. So what did I do to luxe it up? I had this beautiful Caesar stone waterfall top made for it. Now this is a something that you usually see in kitchens, this waterfall over the islands. I decided to bring it here as a place to keep my printer and so that I could join two units together and have them look as one cohesive piece. And then here you see black shelves. Again, these I think are one of their most famous pieces for Ikea. So here I use them again to display some of the pieces from our shop page. And think outside the box. I mounted this Kallax system much higher, so it's actually floating on the wall. Now, the reason that I did that is I wanted to continue the line from behind me right across the room, and I wanted to use that additional space on that wall for extra storage. And this is something you've heard me talk about, is to not waste the vertical space in your home. This is why I actually don't like dressers, is they only give you storage on the lower half of your wall when you really have all of this real estate to use. So that's a great trick, especially for small spaces. And as we move around the room, I've used these fabulous picture shelves. Now this is something that's so inexpensive from Ikea. And obviously they are meant for leaning pictures. We have had them in the past where we actually lean tiles for clients so that they can see how the tile scheme works when we're showing them the fabric scheme. So many uses. This would make a fabulous addition to a kitchen to stack your platters and plates as well if you've got just a shallow space of space. And then as we move in here, this is probably, again, one of the pieces I use most often in my projects. This is Ikea. And it is available in quite a few configurations. It's actually meant to be as a floating shelf, but you can buy these legs that I have on mine. Now this particular leg is no longer available, and it was actually in wood. I spray painted it gold to get the look that I wanted. But in nurseries especially, I almost always use the Ikea system. It's available in 4 colors. But as you're going to see in the videos that I show you, especially later, Ikea is so easily painted to change the look. So everybody assumes that, oh, well, it's only available in this white and I don't like how cheap the material looks, because it is a laminate. So 2 ways to paint your Ikea pieces. One of them is to get a really good high adhesion primer and then use a pearl finish paint on top of that. Now that requires a little bit of light sanding before you put your primer, and then you're going to sand in between layers. An easier way to paint is by using chalk paint. Not available in as many colors as just getting a paint from your paint store, but it's going to go straight on your IKEA piece and give you incredible adhesion. So you're going to see that a lot of the hacks involve painting these IKEA pieces. It's a fabulous way to change up the look and get a painted furniture piece as opposed to laminate. Now, I'm also going to leave a link for some of my favorite legs to use on not just IKEA, but really on any pieces of furniture. Let's talk now about one of my favorite series, the Vittsjö. So this is a unit I have been using for years and years, but very rarely am I using it the way it comes in black. This is where the simplest hack you can do is with a can of spray paint, and my color of choice is usually gold and sometimes bronze. So the Vittsjö comes in various configurations in the series. There's a coffee table, I believe there's some side tables, but my favorite are the shelving units. There's a low version and a high version, and as you can see here in this home office in our student condo project, we used it for the home office, and I spray painted the legs in a bronze color. And then I used one of IKEA's desks, and I also took the same can of spray paint and spray painted out the legs to make that cohesive. And then you can see where again I brought in an uber traditional, very high-end chair to use as a desk chair to really amp up the volume of luxury in this room. Now in this project, this is one of our staging projects, and you can see we've used the taller of the Vittsjö series, and we bring these in both black or gold depending on the project, and I love to use them in home offices. They're a great way again to bring not only beautiful display into a room but provide storage, and IKEA once again has fabulous storage containers that are meant for display, not just for tucking away, and you can see here we've used them in several of our staging projects. I actually used this unit one time in a hallway of a very old Toronto house, and it was a great way to introduce people coming into that home to the client's personalities. As soon as they walked through the door, we brought some of their favorite keepsakes and then also added some boxes for key storage and things like that into their hallway. It was a fabulous look and one that still stays in my mind as one of my favorite spaces. The next hack is for the Malm dresser. Everybody is familiar with the Malm dresser. I think everybody who's ever had a kid go off to school or a young adult starting out their lives in their own first home have used the Malm dresser. What I love is all the options on how to hack those dressers now, starting from the simplest hack, which is changing out the doorknobs, to a little bit more involved painting once again with either chalk paint or the primer and pearl finish paint technique, or by adding these fabulous contact papers that you can find online. We'll leave a link to a few of my favorites here that will completely transform the look. Now, one of the new trends out there is to add fluting. So there's a product called Pole Wrap, and this is a thin piece of wrap made of wood that you can cut and attach to the front of your either Malm pieces or many of the other pieces that IKEA uses, and it completely transforms the look. Again, we will show you some of my favorite towards the end of this video. So the Malm can be used again in so many spaces. Now, when you're looking at the dressers, everybody's first inclination is to think of using those dressers in a bedroom. Please think outside the box. This makes a great space or a great piece to put in other spaces. If you have a somewhat larger living room or family room and you're looking for storage, these will make great side tables. They also look fabulous stacked in multiples, as you saw me do with the file drawers, and used in a hallway for a great storage solution. The most famous, I think, of all the IKEA pieces is the Billy. And there are so many ways to revitalize that Billy and use it so it looks modern and luxurious. There are companies pretty much across the world that offer cabinet doors for the Billy bookcase. So these are doors that you order in and then attach to your Billy bookcase. There are also hacks out there where you can bring in the rattan and switch out the glass panel on a Billy door to the rattan to give you a, again, more modern look. And then of course adding a base, columns and crown molding completely transforms the look of this and gives you a built-in bookshelf look without the high-end custom millwork price. So these are just a few of my favorite pieces to hack. Some of my favorite TikTok and Instagram influencers doing amazing things are as follows. So the first is Erica from Peony and Honey. I absolutely love what she's done with the Billy bookcase. She's actually shown 3 different versions of hacks for it. First one was simply painting it and adding some lights to the glass to make it look like it was segmented. And then she did a fabulous arch detail, and then of course that caning. She also did the hemness dresser where she added these arched ends and added that fluting I was talking about. And one of my favorite hacks she did was on the God Morgan vanity. She simply added some horizontal slats and then painted it, and it gave it such a custom high-end look. I really love it. And this one from Kaylee Miller Home is one I've actually done in the past. So she, like me, we simply painted it out, hers was black, and then switched out the knobs. Now, why I love this shoe base from IKEA is it works great in any small space. It's only about 7-8 inches wide, but it allows you to store quite a few shoes to keep them out of the way. And if you wanted to up the ante on this, use that pull wrap to give a fluted or reeded look to the front of this cabinet. And my all-time favorite IKEA hack comes from my grandparents' chair. What this girl has done with the Billy bookcase is actually a project I intend on using in our next office. Have a look and see the way she created these beautiful arches over top and then painted the Billy bookcase, and how it completely transformed the look of her room. I encourage you to search IKEA hacks on Instagram, TikTok, and Google, and be inspired by how all these creators are transforming their IKEA pieces and bringing luxury to their homes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon to be notified of our future videos, and comment below if you've done any of these hacks or what some of your favorites are that you've seen on the net. Thanks for watching. I'm Miriam Manzo.